Hey, good morning, good morning, morning. Morning, John. Morning, B. X-Ray. Beth. I think that's you. Morning, Francois. Morning, Arturo. Morning, David. Morning, Val. Morning, Valerie. Morning, everybody. Glad to be back. Happy Memorial Day. Yes, indeed. And let's see. Let me pull something over and share. This was Fort Bliss National Cemetery this weekend. I'm sure it looks like this today, or it will when the sun comes up out there. Beautiful with all the flags. Really beautiful. Just scale. This is 60 some odd acres of national cemetery. Just really amazing. Really beautiful. If you have a national cemetery near you, I encourage you to go pay some respects, at least for a few minutes. Maybe busy over there today. They were telling me, the VA representative was telling me that Monday, today, is one of their busiest days of the year, Memorial Day. So, but with all the flags, it's really pretty. They try to do that for every national cemetery, every state veterans cemetery. Try to put flags on every single grave. If you didn't know that, it's one of the things Scouts do. Me and my boys have done it in the past. Didn't do it this year, but yeah. And you know, this is zoomed out. Like if you zoomed it up, like these go on for like as far as you could see, pretty much, like graves. You know, I think there were 20,000 or 30,000. I don't know. There's a lot of thousands of graves. That's a lot of flags. It's a lot of time, a lot of honor. So remember those who've given it up for us. Yeah. Sledge, we appreciate what you did for us too. Your time. So you and Goose and all the other veterans that spend their time with me, I do appreciate everything you guys have done. So really was a beautiful place out there. And this picture in particular, looking toward New Mexico right over here, and Mexico right over here. So really pretty. This is in Texas, El Paso. So, all right, moving on for today. Crypto's moving. Remember, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. I may be full of crap, so anything I say may or may not happen in the future because past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, and fun, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. And if you desire personal financial advice, please hire and consult a financial advisor. Has a fiduciary duty to give you good advice. Morning, Jason. So, S&P, big pop on Friday. That was awesome to see. My personal account, I was like, holy moly, when I opened up the platform this morning. Actually, it was yesterday when I actually got out of a trade yesterday, posted it in Discord. The futures market is open today. If you didn't know, we're actually moving. We popped, and now we're kind of dropping a little bit. Right at the reopen, it's 6 seconds after the reopen, I got filled on a bull put spread that I put on, 5 days ago, 8 days ago, sometime last week. And I guess it was 7 days, I don't know. So, a few days ago, I put on this bull put spread trying to take advantage of a potential pop. That pop played out, got out. If you didn't know, you can get out of options on futures anytime the futures market's open. Guess what? So, anyway. Yeah, that's very true, Val. I have to agree 100% with what you just said in the chat. And if you want to chat with me, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and a few seconds later, the chat opens up while I'm live. If you're watching a replay after I'm not live anymore, the little live red button's not on, then you can leave me a comment and down below. And while you're at it, if you're not in Discord, check the description. There's a link to get in there. You can join the chat and come talk with me in there too. I plan on posting some of these pictures in Discord after I get off of here. So, alrighty. Anyway, so NASDAQ popped way on up. ES trying to break out. probably going to retrace that gap up, find support, and then push on up. That's classic price action. Be careful. We have a debt ceiling, tentative debt ceiling deal. It's going to be Wednesday before they vote on it. And the deal's not done until they vote. So this whole thing can unravel. We could get it. Kind of my primary expectation on this deal right now is that we get a pop, super excitement, and then we drop. Why drop? Well, because of what I said last week, the Treasury has to refund their accounts. They're going to have to sell $1.2 trillion worth of Treasury bills. To do that, they're going to have to do about $50 billion a week until they get to the 1.2 trillion. That's going to suck liquidity out of the markets. And if I pull this up where we can see it, bump this up right here, you can see where we're already in a liquidity crunch, like a double crunch here. We topped it out right here. We pulled back off of that. We topped it out again, and we're going to be topping it out again. And this just, I went through this last week, but the code right here uses the WALCL, the WTRRAGN. We can look these up here on WAL. Oh, type it in the wrong spot. So WALCL is the balance sheet assets, total assets of the Federal Reserve right here. All right. Then WTRGEN. I'm going to have to copy that. Nope, that wasn't right. Oh, that's cool. I put the whole thing in there. Let's just take this off and see what the calculation is. There we go. So we have WALCL, we have WTREGEN, and we have RPONTSYD. This gives us kind of a net liquidity, and it does some other math to it. That's why it doesn't look exactly like this down here, because it makes it into an RSI type chart where we oscillate up and down. But this kind of shows us the net liquidity in the market right now. As you can see, we came off some lows. Right back here in particular, we were down low, had another spike down right here, and kind of another dip here, and then we went on a big spike. And if we take and we compare the SPX to this, you see as the liquidity in the market increases, SPX tends to increase. As the liquidity in the market decreases, SPX tends to decrease. It's not like a hard rule, all right? Especially back here, we were more responsive, kind of decoupled right now though. This one pulled back while the S&P continued to kind of hold up and go higher. Now we're on an upswing a little bit. So this is liquidity in the market. How does that relate to crypto? Well, we're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm just kind of updating for Friday since I was not here. I just wanted to, kind of touch on it, talk about it a little bit about what's happening, that debt ceiling excitement, all kind of coming together here. Now, one thing in particular on NASDAQ is that we were getting a little overbaked. There's a lot of long NASDAQ contracts in the futures right now. The computers are super long, almost record so. I'll talk about it more tomorrow because this will play out more tomorrow when the regular market's opening. But I'll show you some charts and stuff. And I also have some charts that show us that we're probably in a recession based on actual money that consumers have. We have GPD, which is gross domestic, or GDP, gross domestic product, but we also have what they call GDI, which is gross domestic income, which is the money going to the people. Our GDI is in a recession. It's recessionary right now. It's been pulling back. So that's why it feels like we don't have any money, and, you know, we, the people, because the gross domestic income is dropping, has been dropping. That's very indicative of a recession, even if they want to bake the numbers for GDP and say we're growing, no problem, the economy's great. We all feel it. We all know. All right. Russell continues to be the laggard down here at the bottom. Oil, right back to the top of the box. We'll see how this plays out. I think it's going to dip one more time. This is kind of like a very overlapping, not bullish wedge type thing. We can pop up, touch the roadmap line again. That's possible. I don't think we're getting out of here until we make that move down. At least one more here, if not a lower low down here. All right. Gold heading back to the roadmap line. It's pretty close. All right. Not far away. This one looks like it bottomed. Silver. I'm probably going to add a silver position tomorrow. I'm going to be on the hunt for a long term, I mean out to like 2025 SLV position. This one has potential to go from 23 up to about 35, possibly higher over the next couple years. And you know, it can go on a tear. I mean, this went from 20 up to about 26 in the span of month and a half. So we could go from 23 up to 29 or 30 very quickly. I'm expecting 35 probably, maybe a little higher in the next go before we get a pullback. So I'm going to be shopping out for position. Stay tuned for that. Actually, what's moving? Crypto, check this out. This is Bitcoin futures, not the actual Bitcoin chart. We can pull that up and look at what's going on. Now I'm going to teach you a little trick here in just a few minutes on Bitcoin. But right now, getting a nice little pop up to the top of the range and finding resistance. Oh, not cool, Bitcoin. Come on, we need you to break on out and get the move. I need to break out of this consolidation box, then break above these highs also, kind of 2 layers of resistance to get that bigger move. Now, one of the other things we have, dollar pushing higher while this is happening. So remember, usually we see the dollar pulling back when the stock market rallies, but this is dollar climbing and stock market climbing. It's interesting. Ethereum futures also kind of pushing above the consolidation. This one doesn't look quite like Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin right here. See all this consolidation it had, and this is hanging out just at the top of the range. Ethereum here, though, its consolidation was down here, sitting up here above the range. So this one has the potential and opportunity and setup to actually break on out or go test this high at least around 2,000, if not break on out above right around 2140 on the futures. So nice potential. Now, one thing I did, I jumped over here to a cryptocurrency heat map. I said, what's popping for the last day, right? Kind of popped like this. You can see Hex. If you look, we'll look at the Hex chart, but Hex got beat down. I mean, it was crazy. Let's see if I didn't even put Hex on the chart here. Hex USD. Look at this. Hex has been beaten. Look at that. Ouch. Lower low. So I always warn about these patterns right here. We break below the roadmap line, can't get off of it. That's classic lower low scenario. It tried to break out through the roadmap line. If we look at the weekly chart, that was probably more clear on what was going on. Don't even have a roadmap line. Awesome. Let's go for a 3-day. There we are. 3-day we tried, failed, tried, failed. The extension lower. Yikes. This thing can go way on down. Don't even have the extensions on here because it's so close to zero right now. It's at a penny. Can it go lower? Well, sure as blank it can. Can it come higher? Well, it's got a long way to go back up to the roadmap line. That's 6 cents. That's 600% gain. From, 400. Well, I guess 1.5 cents times 4 would be 6 cents. I wouldn't mess with this. This can go bust right here. All right. ADA. They're all the same charts. Like crypto, there's nothing really special. It's all the same charts, all the same patterns. But a lot of these charts and patterns look pretty freaking horrible right now. Like ADA, just kind of sitting, hanging out right in the roadmap line. Matic right there. This is a potential. This Matic does have something potentially cooking right here. A super deep measured bounce. I thought it was going to do the measured bounce right there. It crushed down through the roadmap line. It does need to get back up through the roadmap line, back up through that. Excuse me, monster talking to me this morning. The 618 level, right around the $6 area. We get back above that, then it's looking much more likely to get the extensions higher. Extensions higher can be significantly higher over here. So significantly higher. For some reason, I did that backwards. Yeah, the 618 level right there at the top of that consolidation. Oh, that. Extension targets, 176, $2. $2 jives with this one back here. That's a potential kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 retrace right there. Has a bigger 1, 2 kind of setup right now. On the bigger move up, that's a measured bounce setup. Have to break above this stuff right here on Matic. Right there, got to get above that. We can go on an extension. And it could be significant. Let's remove some of these other levels out of here. So right around $2 from 90. I mean, that's double your money. That's not huge right now, but it's a nice potential. And if you do it this way, the bigger potential, if this thing goes bullish, would be right up here around $8. One reason I was looking at this back in January, February, March, when we were doing this move right here. Now that we've done the retrace, this thing is, I was looking for a potential extension on this wave 5. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's probably a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5 right there. This topped out, pulled back. Sorry if this is a little over your head. Matic has a nice potential. It's worth potentially, I mean, if you got some extra money, you got 20 extra bucks that you're thinking about, hey, maybe I'll go buy me a milkshake. One of those $20 milkshakes, Hey, it's not impossible. I mean, Chick-fil-A, crazy prices. And let me tell you, we went to Whataburger in the Houston airport. Freaking $11 for just a hamburger, regular hamburger, not a lot of fancy stuff, like $11. I was like, anyway, XRP, nice potential there, but it's got regulatory news and it's been held in, not able to break above these highs yet. I would be nervous unless you're playing right into that high, which is only like, what, 7 cents above us. It's got to break out above that. It's got to be above this resistance. That's 2 times now. That is a higher high, but that's 2 times. It's stopped there. It's just like every other chart. Till we can get above the resistance, still in there. Now, one that does look pretty good. That's not a great chart at Caspa. Let's see. Let me find a better chart. There we go. I don't like that one. Look at this beautiful pattern right down to the roadmap line. We break back above this little, let me zoom it back up. See that little swing right there? Pop up above that. We can go on an extension. This is just a roadmap line retrace. Extension out would be 51, possibly 62 cents on the upside. Pretty nice, pretty nice. You might say, JT, how do I find KAS? What the devil is that, right? Let's talk about how you can find these. All right, pop over here, coin market cap. We type in Caspa, pull it up right here. See, oh, 1.8 cents. All right, we'll look at the 1 year chart. Looks pretty nice. It's kind of what we were looking at. But how do we trade it? What is it? Well, here's a bunch of information about what it is. And if you come down here, see all the markets. Here are all the places you can obtain Caspa. Now, Coinbase, not on there. Binance, not on there. You're going to have to go to some of these DeFi exchanges if that's what you want to get into. That's what I kind of cover a little bit in my crypto power plays, is how to do that sort of stuff. This one is not one of the top coins. I mean, it's not one of the not top coins. I mean, it's ranked 217 out of 25,000. We had a nice bump since yesterday. But how many cryptos do we really need out in the world? So just keep it in mind. Caspa may rally up into the top 100, but it may not at the same time. So some of these other ones I'm looking at today are in the top, 50 or so. Litecoin in particular is interesting. I'm kind of dancing around here a little bit, but let's look at Litecoin. This is interesting. Why is it interesting? Because it has a halving event coming up in August. Zoom it out just a little bit. It's been on a pretty bullish tear since about June last year. This does not look like the Bitcoin chart at all. In fact, I need to overlay. Year to date. Or actually since the low. Let's see, let's pull it back to the low. Bitcoin has been underperforming Litecoin. So Litecoin has been outperforming since the bottom back here. While Bitcoin made a lower low, Litecoin has been a little bit of a monster here. And it's because it has a halving event coming up. You might say, JT, I don't know what, like, you're talking Greek, buddy. Well, crypto is mined with cryptography, and that's kind of how it all works. Like the same thing that makes the little lock symbol on your browser is the same thing that operates crypto. All right, it's cryptography. It's encryption. Now, generating hashes and solving difficult cryptography problems is how coins are minted and mined and the blockchain operates. All right, it's all cryptographically signed. So what that does is it makes it very difficult to alter the blockchain and make fake transactions. They call it immutable, inarguable. Now, miners, computers sitting out there solving these problems, they get paid a reward. All right, Litecoin, they're not all the same, not at all. Like the different cryptographic problems vary by the coin and how it works, how it, it's very, very complicated if you really want to get into it. Litecoin is not the same as Bitcoin. Now, Litecoin and Dogecoin are very similar, and actually if you're mining Litecoin, you can mine Dogecoin at the same time. it's interesting. And some of these are related. You know, they're kind of like Litecoin and Doge are kind of like brother sister, or brother sister cousin, I guess you could say. Now, Litecoin in particular, they're going to cut. A halving event is cutting the payout rate for miners in half. That's usually a deflationary event because less supply is being mined, less supply is coming onto the market, and that, given the same demand, say we have the same demand here as we have over here, that usually leads to higher prices when supply is cut. All right, so that's the same thing we have coming up on Bitcoin into 2024 is a halving event, probably going to happen in March of 2024. Sometime in March. Mid-March is when I'm shooting for, and that's probably going to lead to a pop in Bitcoin's price because every single halving event we've had before, they occur about every 4 years. It's based on the block number mined, not on a calendar date. But every 4 years, the last one was back here in 2020. Look what happened. The one before that was back here in 2016, which we don't have futures that far back, so I'll have to actually pop over to the all-time history index. I have the halving event marked right there, large rally. Moving on back, have the halving event marked right here, large rally. They look kind of the same, right? Moving on back, Bitcoin halving event right here, huge rally. That's back to 2012. It was in December. The next one occurred in July 2016. The next one occurred in May 2020. See what price does every single time. A repeatable pattern here. The next one should occur in March, maybe April 2024. What do you think is going to happen 2024, 2025? Interesting, right? So, Bitcoin has that potential coming up in 2024. Litecoin already working on that potential for this August. Now, things getting exciting in crypto tends to bring more excitement in crypto, and the bigger boats out there tend to float a lot of the smaller boats. So Litecoin coming in at number 12 right now. However, CoinMarketCap ranks them. It's not necessarily by market cap. So if you roll down through here, you'll see different market caps above and below others. So I don't know exactly how they rank them, especially when you get down into the top 100. They tend to not be necessarily ranked by market cap. Bitcoin and Ethereum, though, tend to stay right at the top because they're the big dogs. Now, one thing in particular, I wanted to show you a trick. I talked about this trick a few minutes ago. Let's go to my actual crypto market or crypto power plays list here. Let's pull up Bitcoin, zoom her up, Buttercup. There goes an airplane. One thing that I've noticed, this is on a daily chart now. When you get 3 green days in a row on Bitcoin, and then you also get 3 green days in a row on Ethereum, these weren't the strongest, you tend to get about 2 weeks of continuation higher. Now, it's not universal. This doesn't always happen. But when you get 3 green days in a row on both Bitcoin and Ethereum together, it didn't happen back here. 1, 2, 3, and then we stalled out and dropped. You see 1, 2, 3, we stalled out and dropped. But historically, when we get 3 green days in a row that line up on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, like I think this one right here, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and we get about 2 weeks of continuation. Why that happens? No idea. I've just noticed it. It's held true for almost 3 years now. So did I read the chart? Let's see, Penny. Did I read the chart? It seems to take a while from that pop. Well, it's an exponential move, so it looks like we can pop back over there. Pop. Let's zoom her out. See, it does take a little while. That's why we're not going to run into the halving event necessarily. The big move can happen after the halving event. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that there's the one that I have marked. We get a little run into the halving, but then we get the bigger run after the halving, after the supply drops. That tends to be what happens. If you cut it down, we make the low, and then we start rallying into the halving, and then we get the big reaction. Pull it back here. We get the low before the halving. We get a rally into the halving, little reaction, and then the big run. Back here, same pattern. Cut that on down. See, we make a low. There was the beginning of Bitcoin in 2009. A spike, a drop. That wasn't even halving. Like that, that just was coming onto the market. We got a big spike. Back to the low. A run into the halving. And then a massive growth. You can see that one took a little over a year. That post-halving excitement lasts around 12 to 18 months. The lowest low happens to occur usually 12 to 18 months before halving. This low right here, November, that was 13 months before the halving. If we zoom this up, this low that occurred right here. Let's see which one's lower. Looks like that one's marginally lower. January 15, so that was right at 18 months ahead of the halving. Kind of made a double low right here that was only 11 months ahead of the halving. So this is why about a year out from the halving, I like to start finding my position in Bitcoin, which is what I've been hyping on for a little while here. Now, this one, July 16, and we topped out here in December 17. So we got about 17 months of rally before we went into crypto winter. Went back and found a low in December of 2018. Got a pop, came back almost near the low. This pop was pretty exciting, and then this was pretty defeating. But then we had the halving event right there in May. So this went from December 2018 to May 2020. 12, 13, like another 17 months or so. Now, didn't look super exciting. We did rally strong into the halving, but still wasn't making higher highs. And then from 2020 out to the ultimate high here in 2021 in November. That one lasted. This probably should have been the highest high right there, lasting 11 months. But we dipped and people got a little excited again, and we made another high right there into November. So May, June, July, September, October, November, roughly 17 months again. So you see the 17-month pattern popping up. Here, we probably made our lowest low in November. Kind of called it out in Discord. We'll probably rally a bit. Probably get a significant retrace. Everybody will think that Bitcoin's going in the garbage again. We'll rally into the halving. And then post-halving in 2024 into 2025, we'll likely see a nice large pop. We'll get to those highs. Everybody will be like, oh, man, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. And then into 2026, we're going to go into a crypto winter. Yet again, get a large 60, 70% pullback. That's just the pattern. I mean, it's played out exactly like clockwork. So that's going to take all of crypto with it. Crypto is going to be hot and exciting again, 2024, 2025. And then late 2025, it's going to start getting down. We're going to see a bunch of hit pieces, a bunch of crap. Probably some exchanges going to go broke, bankrupt in 2025, 2026. So keep it in mind if you're going to play this game. Now, you might say, what are some opportunities in crypto? You know, I have a large list here. Some of my favorites, Mara, M-A-R-A, has a nice potential right now. BITO, that's a roadmap line potential bounce. And think about it, if we do some of the exponential things, make a higher high than we made back here, we could be talking about some significant extensions. Significant extensions. Get all my words out there. We're talking 50, 60, possibly something up in like 90 if it really got crazy on BITO. Maybe buy this is why those leaps out to 2025, I'm kind of like, hey, doesn't matter which one you buy. You buy a $15 strike right now into 2025. If we go up to 90, think about it. That's ridiculous money. Anyway, that's as I said, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. We may not do that pattern. Remember, this is informational, educational, and fun. Is not a recommendation to buy that. But if you had the money and you could stand for it to go to zero, you may not be hating yourself if you bought some options with even a $20 strike and this thing popped off to 90. Your $20 strike options, maybe spend a buck on them, maybe less than a buck. They go to $70. You see the potential here? Yeah, even if it went to 50, that's still $30. Your dollar option goes to $50. Be pretty sweet. Anyway, remember, that's not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. It's your responsibility out there, okay? Look, serious. All right. If you got questions, throw them in the chat. Jason, yeah, as an air crew bringing their food. Now, I mean, I saw a lot of air crew. I didn't see very many with food. I didn't see them buying food either, though. I mean, a lot of air crew, they leave the hotel and or leave the airport and then go get something to eat. I had for those of you in the know, I had a horrible trip out to El Paso. Dealt with like 6 flight delays, and we sat on an airplane they couldn't get it started in Houston, and it got to over 100 degrees in the airplane. It was ridiculous, and we got off and got back on, and then they couldn't find all the passengers, and it was a whole wonderful experience. Then I got to ride with that air crew to the hotel. We were staying at the same place. And they felt really bad. Anyway, moving on. Let's go back to the list for today. I pulled up what was moving. Talking about a couple more of these, and then we'll wrap it up here. DOT, that's the pattern that we look for going lower. I mean, gives me a lot of caution right there. I mean, that's 1, 2, needs the third extension. Like, that's typically what I'm looking for when I'm looking for an extension lower, probably down to 430. Even though we've had a little bit of excitement, Link, again, that's not a great pattern. Solana, again, stuck under the roadmap line, not a great pattern. So this is one of those haves and have-nots. Litecoin, look, it's above the roadmap line. That's positive versus some of these others that are not. Like even Matic, despite its potential bullish setup, is still below the roadmap line, still in a funky spot, and still a very dangerous coin to go chasing. ADA, parked right on the roadmap line. That's not showing anything. Ethereum is above. Bitcoin is above. That's why I'm talking about the ones I've been talking about. That's why I'm focused on the ones I've been focused on. All right, there's 25,000 cryptos out there, and most of them have a garbage chart. This is one of the things I've been saying lately is don't trade garbage charts. Don't trade garbage charts. If the chart looks like garbage, don't go chasing it. All right. So that's kind of like my little crypto spiel for today. Went a little longer than normal, about 45 minutes here. So I hope you all have a great day, Memorial Day. As I said, if you have a national cemetery or a veteran cemetery of any type around you, should go at least pay a little respect, drive by at the minimum. Remember those people who gave it all, spent years of their life helping build this country, so that we can sit here and play the digital lottery. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be in Discord most of the day here, on and off. There's not a lot to watch. The futures market does trade until 1 p.m. Not expecting a lot. Just kind of a retrace back to where we closed on Friday. We'll be popping again tomorrow. As let's see, pull this back and refresh the calendar. We've got Tuesday coming up. Not a lot of stuff happening for the U.S. On Wednesday, we've got Jolt's job openings coming up at 10. Fed members speaking. And then Thursday, not a lot again. Got employment claims, ADA employment, non-farm payrolls, ISM, PMI. And then Friday, yeah. So not a big mover week on economic news, but we do have the big event on Wednesday coming up. Are they going to play Let's Make a Deal on the debt ceiling or not? So it depends on how Bitcoin goes between now and Tuesday morning. It might pop, it might drop. We'll see. It's big. As I said, I just finished a whole long explanation of what I thought Bitcoin was going to do for the next 2 weeks. What it does Tuesday, I don't know. I'm in longer term trades. I'm not looking just to Tuesday, what's going to pop or drop. You can't get into an option on Mara right now. You can't buy shares on Mara right now. So I do expect it to probably run into Friday, more than likely. I expect Bitcoin and Mara to run into Friday. So I do expect this to probably continue. As I said, 3 green days in a row, particularly when we look at the actual Bitcoin charts. 3 green days in a row that also line up with Ethereum having 3 green days in a row. This doesn't hold true for any other cryptos. Just this little correlation tends to lead to about a 2-week run. Now, Mara is one of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there. They tend to exasperate moves in Bitcoin. So when used as a proxy for Bitcoin, they tend to go a little overexcited. And Mara is one of the top shorted companies in the world. So anytime a little short squeeze, if shorts are getting squeezed, it tends to exasperate the moves. So that's one reason why I like to play that one. All right. Hope you have a great day. Hope this was helpful. Looks like crypto pulling back a little bit today after that nice big fat pop into the daily rollover yesterday. Watch out. This thing can just start running again. It doesn't have to retrace very far. Crypto is a volatile sucker. Risk on, risk off. All right. Have a great day.